When making the decision to invest in upgrading your windows, one of the biggest questions is how do I know if I'm choosing a good contractor? And so, what I want to break down today is the different types of contractors, what to look for, and how you can ensure that whether you decide to work with us or somebody else, you're choosing a contractor that you can trust, that's going to perform on time, and that's going to give you exactly what you want. Let's get into it. My name is Cody Landels. I'm the founder and CEO of Reimagine Roofing and Construction. And what we're going to talk about today is choosing your contractor. So, one of the first places you're going to want to look as you're trying to pick your contractor is at their reviews. Now, one thing that we really recommend is when you're looking at reviews, please make sure you sort by new and not just all of them, because this is going to show you exactly what kind of work they're doing in the last month, the last 3 months, and the last 6 months. So please go check out the reviews. Most people are going to have a Google review account. If they don't have Google reviews, that might be your first red flag. Now, there's really three types of contractors out there, three kind of buckets to think about. One is at the kind of the top end is going to be your big box, your giant companies that are in 30, 40, 50 states. Now, benefits pros on this side, a lot of homeowners feel comfortable that these companies are going to be around for a long time because they're so large. And I would typically agree with that. But one thing to caution you on, if you do look in the news, you will see companies like Renova and Dream Home Remodeling actually went bankrupt this year. Their biggest year on record was $564 million, and they operated in 48 states. So big doesn't always mean it's here to stay. What does guarantee a company's here to stay is, are they doing good work? Are they consistently doing what they're saying to do? And are they treating their customers right? Because if you do those three things, you'll stay in business. If you don't do those three things, doesn't matter how big you is or how much money is going to be pumped in, you're not going to be able to survive. All right. So the super big guys, the benefits, they've been around a long time. They might be around a lot longer. Typically, you're going to be able to get some type of support with them as far as calling a 1-800 number. Drawbacks, a lot of times the prices are going to be much higher than a local contractor because they have to cover marketing costs and sometimes really big commissions. Two, it's going to be an impersonal experience when you do call in for support. You're not going to work with the same person every time. It's probably going to be a 1-800 number. And then three, they typically have very aggressive sales strategies. They're really famous for coming in and offering you a window package for $70,000 and saying, if you sign tonight, I'll do it for $40,000. And hey, wait, no, it'd actually be $35,000 and it's $30,000. And they sit there for 2-3 hours and just kind of beat you over the head until finally you just say yes, so they leave your house. And to us, that's not the right way to do business. The next group is going to be your mid-size contractors like Reimagine Roofing and Construction and many other ones in Arizona that do amazing work. Kind of what you're going to get with a company like this is going to be a large enough company where we have over 40 employees. We work in multiple states, but we're only in 5 states versus 48. We aren't going to be so large that you're just a number. I'm going to always be here if you have an escalation. My team can reach out to me directly and I will step in and make sure we do the right things. So with a mid-sized company, a lot of times you still have the CEO involved in the day-to-day and can really ensure that his vision that he set out with is being rolled out by his entire team. And I put myself in that bucket. When I started Reimagine Roofing and Construction, I wanted to reimagine the construction industry and bring quality and professionalism that I wasn't seeing in this space. And so you have my word that you will get that experience with us. But the one drawback for companies of our size is that typically when we're of this size, we do have more projects going on than the smallest companies. So we're not perfect. What I can guarantee though is that we have a definitive process that I'm going to go over in a second that helps ensure that the majority of our customers have a great experience. We have over 800 5-star reviews, but I'll be the first to tell you, we have a couple 1-star reviews too. And sometimes we do miss the mark, but you do have our word that we will make it right. And sometimes, we will correct rather than doing it right the first time. It's the nature of construction. Now, moving on from there, the smallest companies, these are going to be, like a Bob's Windows, and Bob's going to show up. The biggest benefit of this is that you are working with the owner of the company in many cases directly. You're looking them right in the face, and that's who you're working with. Some of the drawbacks of your super small construction companies is if Bob maybe decides to retire next year, his business goes away. A lot of those smaller businesses do struggle with staying in business because construction's a really hard industry. And when you're that small, one job going wrong can wipe out your entire business. So those are the kind of the three different buckets. You have your really big ones that are gonna, maybe have a little bit more aggressive sales techniques, maybe a lot of staying power, but you're gonna recognize the brand. You're gonna have heard the name before. Then you have your mid-level contractors like Reimagine Roofing and Construction, where they're maybe across a single-digit number of states. They have a good number of employees. They've been around a while and they have some staying power, but they may have not been around as long as the biggest ones. They may have not be quite have as much staying power as the biggest ones in some people's eyes. And the final bucket is going to be what your smallest ones. Bob's Windows, John's Windows, and you're going to be working with Bob or John. These are owner operated, typically 1 to 3 employees. And biggest benefit of this is sometimes you can get the absolute cheapest price there. Though keep in mind, sometimes with construction, you do get what you pay for. And that's especially true in windows. But the other big benefit is you're working with Bob directly and you can hold Bob accountable. Now, drawback, sometimes there's some struggle with staying power for a small company. If something happens to Bob or Bob decides to retire, the company goes away. And sometimes those smaller companies are smaller for a reason because they aren't doing a good job at their business. And that's why they're not getting repeat customers. So those are the 3 buckets of contractors and how you want to go about assessing them. 1, Google reviews. 2, really pay attention to what's happening in the sales process. If they're not responding to you when they're trying to earn your business, do you really think they're going to respond to you when they have your money? If they tell you they're going to get you a quote by the end of the day and they don't get you a quote until the end of the week, what's going to happen when it comes to production time? What's going to happen when you have a warranty claim? So really pay attention of how tuned in and how locked in their process is, because if their front end process is a mess, their back end process is a mess as well. Okay. Now, the final thing that's really essential is that your contractor has a definitive SOP that every single install follows. For us here at Reimagine Roofing and Construction, we have an 11-step process that ensures a world-class window install. We call it our 11-step world-class process. And what we strive for every time is to create an absolutely magical experience for our homeowners by following this process. So I'm gonna break it down for you real quick, and then we'll talk about the final thing you wanna keep in mind when it comes to purchasing windows. So our 11-step process: 1, arrive on time. I come from the Marine Corps and time is money. We run an extremely tight ship here. We will not waste your time and you have my guarantee. Number 2, we're gonna audit the material. We're gonna check all the windows, the sizes, the openings. We're gonna measure twice, only cut once. Then we're gonna protect the home. We're gonna lay down drop cloths both on the inside and the outside. And depending on the situation, the home setup, we may do some dust preventatives as well. Then we're gonna do a walkthrough and confirmation with you as the homeowner. We're gonna make sure you give the signature on all the windows, doing a triple check to ensure that the right window is going in the right spot and you're getting exactly what you paid for. Then we're gonna remove the windows and start the demo process. And we're gonna remove all the windows, inspect, make sure there's no damage, and then we're gonna reinstall those new windows, making sure that it's level, plumb, and square. And then we're gonna seal it, and then we will do a final trim and hardware install to ensure that the window trim is installed perfectly. From there, we are going to do what I think most of our homeowners love the most. It's our world-class closeout and cleanup. So first, we're gonna walk you through the operation of the window. We're gonna show you how every window works. We're gonna show you how to maintain your windows in the best possible way. And then we are gonna go and clean all the windows to make sure that they are absolutely spotless. And then we'll do a final cleanup where we vacuum the inside of the home, vacuum the outside of the home, and we make sure that your home is more clean when we leave than when we arrived. Throughout this process, also, the entire team is going to be in branded material. They will also be wearing booties to make sure that we do not track any dirt into the home, and we're going to treat your home the way it should be treated. So if you are in the market for windows, what I want you to make sure you do as you evaluate your contractors is understand their business model, understand their most recent reviews and what they're offering. And the final thing that is absolutely important is that if you are looking at payment plans or financing options, that you really understand what the loan actually is. There are some lenders out there that have some loans that have left some bad taste in people's mouth. That's why here at Reimagine, we only use Zero dealer fee options. We have no hidden fees, no origination fees. All of our loans have no prepayment penalties, and we really ensure that these loans are as clean as the windows that we install. So if you're in the market for windows and you want to learn more about our process or our financing products or our window products, please reach out to the team. We're sitting here waiting to give you a world-class experience.